Hello there, everyone. Okay, funny enough, I switched my camera wrong. Oh, okay, I see now there. Okay, there and there. Okay, interesting. I think YouTube might not like this, but just want to quickly go live on my TikTok as well. So if everyone can just have a pop in and just let me know where you're from. We're going to talk about a few topics tonight, and just want to check if I can get that going. TikTok, where are you? I have to do it for some reason. TikTok blocked me from using the software that I'm using, but that's okay. we we do what we need to do. I promised myself that I will go live at least days or 3 nights a week to start the process. So rather do that. Okay. So let me just go live on TikTok as well. Then it's nice and close to each other. Okay. We're live on TikTok. We're live on all social media. It's so nice to all have you here. I'm going to have some guests later on joining me. Before the guests join us, yeah, I need to talk about a few things, but let's just give a few people to join my live streams and just pop me in a text box while I'm checking. I'm live on TikTok. I'm live on Rumble. I'm live on Instagram. I see a few people have joined Instagram. Darren, nice to see you. Boom chakalaka, baby. Definitely. I'm going to talk about Kragdag. And for those who want to stay on and know what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to talk about Afrikaans people that are Jajarach. All Afrikaans people, if you're Afrikaans, you are Jajarach. You need to listen to me while I'm going to say you are Jajarach, and how ugly you are towards people. And it's not all Afrikaans people, so don't worry. I'm not generalizing. It's just a few people that I've seen on the days that I was at Kragdag and how ugly we can be. Then I'm going to talk to all of the women that are feminists. So if you're a feminist, let me know in the Dropbox. I want to know if you're a feminist. I'm going to talk about you. Then thirdly, I'm going to talk about the power of hug and 8 minutes. I'm going to talk about 8 minutes. Do you have 8 minutes for someone and for what they're going through? And I think that is important for us to talk about that. And then, just going to talk a little bit of from my heart. Being in pain. I see Darren says, ha 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 ha, Afrikaans peeps, what's happening? Yes, I'm gonna gooi it now. So I see a few people are live. So just want to check here. I'm live on Facebook. I see YouTube is here. I don't know the name. Iremedikomolafe. Great to see you, Cobus Quasi Ahmed. Nice to meet you. Okay. Let me share with you Afrikaans people. Jajarach. So was at Kragdag and a few things. So one of Afrikaans people I understand is very religious, right? They all wanted to convert me to Christianity. They didn't even ask me if I know Jesus or I love Jesus, where I am. They assumed I'm going to hell, and they were from the beginning, but not in a friendly way. Just like you need to convert, you need to. It was like taking me on religion without knowing what my heart is about. So I felt that that's not done with love. So that was one thing for Christian. They Afrikaans Christian people that they don't take time to get to know the other person. So they were very judgmental on religion wise. They judged you with the book on the cover and not in the story inside of the book. So that was for me a tough thing, because here's the thing, it led to the next thing. Two of my team members are Indian and also English, and I experienced firsthand how ugly Afrikaans people can be to other races and English people. Not opening to speak Afrikaans. Just funny. One of them said to someone, just an open line to just mention something, and says, "Hi, you look like a winner." And he says, "If a mouth like that can lie, you can steal as well." And I'm like, that makes me so angry that they would judge someone like that and be so ugly. So that was one thing that stood out for me, is that even though I was at Kragdag, that was one of the experiences that was not nice, to see how people really, Afrikaans people really treat you, even their own. So I'm Afrikaans, as you can hear. My English is very deliciously. I'm Afrikaans. So they say a prophet is not known in its own town, and so that is one of the experiences I had on the Kragdag weekend, and understand that our Afrikaans people need to change. Yes, we need to be close and we need to have our community and be proud of who we are, but it's important how you treat other people, even if they are also Afrikaans, even if they also, there's no compassion, there was no, I'm not talking about all of them, so please don't make me that I assume that I'm talking about all Afrikaans people. Just a few that I've experienced. It's more the older generation. That led to even the Afrikaans Okies that are more scared of walking on broken glass while their girlfriends are walking on broken glass. So that was for me a interesting experience to see where the world is going, with especially in South Africa. So how do we change that, right? We become a bit more compassionate. We really need to start looking at it. And I think COVID also played a part of it. And so we're after COVID, it's to really make the effort and really getting to know other people. So my cousin, Mugesukkel, is really making a difference out there for people. Ratel, I'm not gonna do you at the moment. Sorry about that. I just need to quickly just have a view, Ratel. um, then the next one is the same with feminist women that are feminist, right? Any woman on here that is a feminist. I see Darren just responds on what I just said. God just want us to love one another and shine kindness. There was just a few people, yes, Darren, that made the effort, and it was the other stall members opposite me and sideways that were really friendly, talking about, and made it really an effort to connect. And my heart is out to them because they really took the effort, and that I appreciate it. And I appreciate you, Darren, as well, to come all the way to see me at Kragdag, bringing your whole family and enjoying the moment, and seeing your two daughters walking over broken glass. So that was quite a special moment. Why I'm saying women are the feminist side, right? So one thing, I saw this amazing video, right, about a feminist lady that were truly feminist. There's actually two stories. And so the one feminist, it was on Reddit. I read it, and she talks about how men has it lucky, and how men are getting everything, and how men is so good. And when she went on, she did a test of going on Tinder and what's the other one? Bumble. I don't know. Has anyone used Tinder or Bumble on here? I haven't been on there for ages. And she went on and she created a male profile, and she thought, oh no, this is easy. Men has it easy. And funny enough, she went on it and she realized she actually became compassionate towards men. She realized she's not a feminist anymore. And she saw how difficult it was and how ugly women can be towards men. Now, I just spoke about Afrikaans people. Now I'm speaking about um, women with feminists that think all of that attacks men so easily. And she was amongst this friend, and she talks about a journey, how women would ghost you, how women would respond when guys were just trying. She was just trying. She changed her profile, she changed her messaging, she really spoke out, she tried to connect, she changed her profile, and women were just ugly. And she's like, is all men going through this? She asked her male friends, and they said, yeah, they are going through it. And they just laughed at her. And the more she did it, she had to delete the app. She said she couldn't do it anymore because it really played to her mental health. And here's the thing, as women are used to getting all the attention. Men don't, and men have to fight just to get attention. And she looks different towards men these days. Instead of just giving them one-liners, showing them off, ghosting them, etc., and understanding how challenging it is for a man to just reach out to a lady. And she's not a feminist anymore today. Then there's another story of a similar thing where a lady made herself as a man. She, changed her look and everything and became a man. And she, in the end of the day, unfortunately committed suicide and unalived herself. And yeah, that's probably not the right word, but um, because she couldn't take the mental health challenges that she experienced by being a man. Now, that's my thing: is where's compassionate going and unconditional love? Do we have time for each other? Do we have an 8 minutes? I saw this video by Simon Sinek, and for me is Simon's success was, was going through talking about a friend and said, sometimes people reach out just to say, how are you doing? But we think it's normal messaging where people just reach out, and they've created the thing where you ask for 8 minutes. And so 8 minutes is being asked, and I think it's, can we take time for each other to make 8 minutes for someone? So I say Phil. I just want to check here. Someone is on the camera. I want to say check in. Phil, the connector is here.
No
Phil,
problem.
are you there, brother?
Yes, I am. How are you? I think
I'm good. I'm good.
um, just stumbled into it. So how are you?
I'm doing good. So everyone, Coach Phil is on the other line. He's all the way from the USA. He's originally from Uganda, and so I just invited him. So Coach Phil, just for interest sake, I just been spoken. Where are you? Let me just. I'm just been speaking about what's happened in South Africa. We did the expo the other day, and while we did the expo, I speak about how people are uncompassionate. There's no compassion anymore. People is judging other people based on skin color, based on culture, based on religion. Pre assumption saying, if you can lie, you can steal as well, towards others, and that was sad to experience on that. And then I spoke about the feminist culture at the moment in the world that's happening, is that women don't really know what men are going through. So it comes on to another type of culture, and a lady that went on Tinder and Bumble, making experiencing as a man, and realized what men go through, and she's not a feminist anymore today. So, and me and you, do talk about culture. So, do you want to say hi to everyone out there?
Hi everyone. Like I said, I'm a connector. I'm happy to be here. And yeah, we talk about culture. I'm so glad that you're mentioning it because exactly what you just said about what's going on. It's rampant everywhere, but most importantly in the workplace. There's a lot of challenges for leaders to try and inspire people to do things simply because the cultures are not aligning. So I'm just happy to be here. I came in the middle, and hopefully we can continue the conversation.
Yeah, I think definitely, Phil. All Phil is as a top speaker in America, and a big performance coach as well. And we recently decided to join hands in conquering the world. So, Coach Phil, I think one thing about it, I've reached also out about, people need to ask if the other person is okay in 8 minutes. Do you have 8 minutes for me? But if we have to pull this through, to companies and culture, what being going through, I've just been at a company, and they're going through stress, anxiety. They're not in a happy space, and they're really having a bad impact. People are not in a good space. What are you finding there in the USA? Do you think it's the same there? Is it the same in East Africa? What is your experience?
I think that the toxicity of the working environment is across the board. It's just different levels of toxicity. There's I think the last time I spoke with you, I did mention to you that there are human resource people I was speaking with, and their biggest challenge is that people are refusing to accept that things have moved on, for example, especially in the Midwest side of things. They don't want to adapt the fact that things are moving. They don't want to adapt that AI is here. They don't want to take them out of their comfort zone, and most importantly, they are resistant to the younger generation of people coming in and saying you can do this bigger, better, faster. And that is in turn creating a situation where the older folk are leaving the work for retirement, and there's no replacement. And the reason there's no replacement is they resisted change, and then these guys hire somebody to come and take over, and they're giving them a month to learn what a guy has been doing for 6 months. I mean, for 16 years. So that is part of it. And then in terms of, I actually saw this firsthand in that session that I attended. There's a lot of robotic ways of doing things. These guys did a session and they sat in their chairs for 12 hours. No energy, no nothing, nothing. And they were pushing, they were on time. They were so robotic. There was no feeling, there was no love, it was nothing. And at the end of it, I asked them, so how did it go? He said, oh, it went perfect. I said, oh, really? I said, yeah, we achieved our calendar event. You achieved your calendar event. What does that mean? Said, oh no, we wanted to go and do A, B, C, D. We've ticked it off and we've done it, and we're off to the next because they were in going region per region. I said, oh, fantastic, okay. And the lady who was running it did not have lunch. When she was running out, she was grabbing a Coke and a protein bar. And I said, so how did it go? She said, if I had to tell you the truth, I would have to shoot you, but my boss is here. And then she ran out and left. So it's sad that some people are working like that. It's sad that some people can go through that. And I wonder if only they could open up to understanding what a high performance culture looks like, what engagement looks like, what being inspiring looks like. I've never seen human resource people who were so uninspiring. It was amazing. They were so cold, and I thought, you guys manage 60,000 people across the world. That's amazing. So you can imagine if the leaders have that energy, how do the rest look like?
Because energy affects everyone. It shows us how we all affect each other. Our cultures difference affects each other. It comes down to a culture. It comes down to a culture that's been created in a company, and because we don't know better, we assume that is the way it should be, and it just filters through towards everyone, and so everyone sort of acts in that same way, and so that has an impact on business. It has an impact on the results. One thing that I found is how the same type of culture shocks in South Africa is the same thing. The way we treat each other. It's just, for me, do we still have decent human, what would I call it, human compassion, human empathy for each other, understanding, communicating? If I think, my friend, you're staying in that side of the world, is, what's coming out of the world there from Trump is that, is people really, there's no compassion to the world. It's becoming America first. It's not about others. It's not about me, 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 me. Isn't that what's happening in business as well? Is what I can get out of it. It's not about other people anymore.
Yeah, and the leaders who understand the opposite are actually taking advantage of the fact that they can do the opposite, and then those who are not are obviously getting the brunt of it. There's obviously a place for that. There's a place where the me is thriving, but we all know that it's short term. Eventually to come to a place where it's not sustainable. But there are also some leaders who are defying it and saying, hey, we need more compassion and we need more people to work in a way that they're bringing everybody on, so.
Yes. So, my friend, so I think one thing is, if you could give an advice, or what is it what we do differently that can impact businesses, or maybe an advice for people that is running a business with a toxic culture that is impacting the rest of the business? Coach Phil?
Sorry, Cobus, yes?
I'm just saying, what advice can you give? You've been part of different cultures and different experiences. You call me you my chocolate friend, and I'm a brother from another mother. Why do you say that? Why do you like me that much?
Because you're vanilla, and chocolate and vanilla go pretty good, and you know that when you go chocolate, you never go back. Excuse the pun, but it is what it is. So listen, I think that when people understand, I mean, Cobus, between me and you over the years, we've been able to touch more lives than we could have done in our separate ways. If I'd never met you and you'd never met me, I doubt would have had the impact. But we've I came, I did the training, and I went out, and I've been masquerading around the world using what I learned from you to do what I need to do, and most importantly, appreciating that we're all the same. So when you ask me what do you say or what do you tell people, you challenge them to try it. I keep telling you that I broke your virginity of having a black friend in your life because you didn't have many black friends, like real friends. But when people try out the opposite, when people try out and see that at the core of all human spirit is the desire to help, is a desire to see other people better, is a desire to actually make a difference. If you ask everybody and you chunk up to the next level, everyone wants to feel appreciated, everyone wants to contribute. That's it. If you dig and dig, the highest level is I want to be useful. And the moment you can help people to understand that yes, that's possible and this is a path to it, and the fastest way is to do it with other people, it's like a light bulb moment. Like a light bulb moment comes on and they're like, oh damn, I can actually do bigger, better things by working with other people. And I think that has been the core of the message, even in everything we have done together. It has always been, hey, the more the better, the more experiences you bring to the table, the better. The more, I mean, the sessions that we did together were just amazing. Everyone still talks about them because of the mixture of the cultures that were there. Now, when you come to this part of the world, you see that most of the people who deal with the human being side of things are usually going to be either black people, color people, stuff like that. But when you chunk up, what are they looking for? They're looking for equality. They're thinking, oh, we just need to find somebody who is who won't be biased. But if these people are unhappy, they're still going to be toxic. If these
Yes.
people do not feel appreciated, they're still going to be toxic. So our job is to give them that feeling of, hey, ultimately we can make this world a better place, and we can do it with other people, and it's better that way, and it's more fulfilling, and it will be faster doing it that way. That's my thought.
I think yeah, you've hit the nail on the head at the moment there. I think it's one thing if I take away from what we do with the glass walk, it's the glass walk when people walk over broken glass is that you can do it alone, but it's sort of unbalanced and you can fall easily, and it's to be okay to ask each other for help. To have that sense of being humble enough to say I can't do this alone and reaching out to each other. But also the other side is from others to be willing to be there for support for those who are walking on the broken glass and not judge them for who they are and where they're from and say, look, no matter who you are and where you're going, I'm with you on this journey. I will make it easier. And the same before they get off the glass walk, there's someone cleaning their feet. And when they clean their feet, it's to show us that there's people that serves us, but we also need to serve others to make the journey. It becomes a team sport, a team thing with a common goal, with a common end, and then executing it. I think we don't make time for each other, and I think that's why that Simon Sinek 8-minute video about 8 minutes in workplace. Do we give each other the time? Because here's my thing, coach, you've noticed it as well. Businesses are so challenges that they get their people to work even after hours. It's that constant pressure. They don't have time for each other. How do we get them to handle pressure even more? Is it an execution challenge? Is it a is it a people problem? What is the problem? Why are they so pressurized and anxious? What would be what is your experience?
Cobus, is that for me?
Yes. What is your experience about people
Up,
and companies' pressure and stress?
Cobus, I don't know who else is here. Why aren't other people contributing to this as well, or you just want my perspective?
Your perspective. So what it is, there is people in the chat box that I see on all of the other social media. I see
Okay.
Darren Lee says, yes, but people also need to learn to speak up and ask for help. We can't support someone if they don't let us know. So what's the solution to that, Phil?
I think there's two questions or two parts to that, but just to go back to how do you help organizations to balance where people are not working themselves into the ground? Um,
Yes.
that's my interpretation. There's three things. One is when there is radical responsibility of results from everyone, then it becomes easy. Number two, when there is radical responsibility for looking after each other in terms of people must take time out. I was on a call yesterday and people can go and mention, oh, Richard Branson takes 3 weeks off, or Bill Gates takes his time off, or but the guy who started Hyundai never took a day off. Those were two different eras, but there is a real benefit of taking time out of work after a burnout. Now, before we get there, how do we get people to not work their uh, themselves into the ground? This is what I've discovered. One, if you have A players, and you have A players means you have really good people in the company, and you have created a culture of responsibility, i.e., people get their work done on time every time. And then ultimately, number three, that they have this spirit of it goes beyond team building. We are comrades. We do not let each other down whatsoever. You will find that usually people who are working too hard and pushing too far, is there's usually two things. Number one, they're usually carrying more than they should, and then number two, there are certain people who are not doing their part, and then there's usually the desire to want to stand out, and then there are those who they just love work. They have no work-life balance, and I don't know if work-life balance exists or not. But they also do not have boundaries of saying, I work 10 hours a day and then I put everything down and close and go. Now, if you create a culture of responsibility, a culture of having high performance, a culture of having a hard stop, and most importantly, forcing your people to go to on holiday, it changes everything, because then people must do their part and leave knowing that it's going to get better. Now, what I've seen recently that I noticed about executives, Cobus, remember that group that I went to see? They have made sure that their number twos are better than the ones who are holding the position right now. What do I mean? They always send their leaders away for a week to the Caribbean, and every time they come back, there are more innovations. The place is better because the number twos are as good and or better than the number ones. That is a culture.
Yeah, I think you're just hitting the nail on the head. I think Darren Lee, you just said something, but Darren Lee said in the past for me something about emotional intelligence. I think the higher people go in, the moment they become a one or executive, it's like the emotional intelligence becomes less instead of getting more. Is I think there's a challenge of leaderships being in their ego and not understanding the importance of people and coming from a different place. So just to reflect on what some people have said in the chats, Coach Phil. One is a Gordon Melville. It says, I believe almost all of what you are speaking about can work itself out with a full understanding of one's own identity, worth, and value. Stop looking outside of ourselves for validation. And then most people don't burn out because they are doing too much. They burn out because they are being too little of who they already are. Um, yeah, and I think, and then Taryn Lee says, yes, but people also need to learn to speak up and ask for help. We can't support someone if they don't let us know. But if, geez, I love this guy, Phil. But if we practice emotional intelligence, we will be able to manage the emotions ourselves and others. It starts from leadership and what they project and expect. I love my work, but as an entrepreneur, where do we draw the line? I suffer from high performance depression. You apparently you speak my language there. They become task orientated due to pressure they endure. So there's a lot of things here, and I think one thing is maybe let's look about it. We love our work. There's a lot of people that love their work, and because we have this high performing, you talked now about high performance in your talk. Why do we experience depression? Because when I'm high performing and I don't get the results, I sometimes also go in a sort of a depression state. Coach Phil, what's your
Yes.
feedback on what I just said?
Say that again. When you're high performing, you can go into a depression state as well because you don't see results.
Yeah, they become. He says, "I love my work, but as an entrepreneur, where do I draw the line? I suffer from high performing depression."
Okay, listen. I am Cobus. You've known me for a while. I am a little bit radical with some of my thinking and or doing of these things. Now, anybody here who is an advocate of work-life balance, we're going to fall out shortly because I don't believe in work-life balance. I believe in
Amen.
life choices because and again it ties in with what you're saying, Cobus. One of the biggest challenges with entrepreneurship is the time delay. We want to put in now and get in a month's time or in 2 months time, but nothing amazing was ever built without time. you know
Yes.
Times we behave like we're not farmers. Can you imagine a farmer putting the corn in the field and then sitting there to watch it grow? It's insane. That's why you have hard work, depression, because you're expecting results right now. You want to do things right now. What is the opposite of that is to be able to say, okay, I have a plan that is trusted, that if I do ABC, I'll be able to get 2 or 3 clients, whatever it is. But if you're building big time and you're building big things, there is a time delay, whether you want or not. There is a time delay. There is a gestation period. There is going to be time where things are going to have to what? The thing we're trying to create right now, a worldwide consultancy firm, we're trying to compete with companies that have been in business for 50 years. But we have a shortcut. We're saying, hey, we're going to do this with a firewalk, which you don't have. But guess what? Before anybody buys the firewalk thing, it takes 12 weeks for them to even believe. Until they've seen Cobus walking and seen all this stuff, they're like, oh, okay, we'll try it. And then when they try it, they get hooked. So going back to work-life depression, number one, cut down on your expectations and understand there's going to be a time delay. That's number one. And number two, look after yourself. Work out, sleep well, eat well, and avoid negative input. Get rid of all the people who are just, I have done a detox recently where the input is very, very, very minimal. I don't want to watch nothing. Even when you say to me, come on to this, I was thinking, oh, do I have to watch other people? Why? I want it clean. I want to work on my process. I want to work on what we're building. I don't want to listen to the news. I don't want to listen to nothing because I know what it does. So the input has got to be clean. Number two, the body is designed in such a way that if you don't refuel it, if you don't allow the brain to rejuvenate, if you don't give it enough rest, if you're feeding on the wrong things, it is going to come out in the way that you get depressed, you get all these things, and ultimately, if you're not sweating it out and working out a little bit and or doing something to just I was looking at a lady this morning. She was walking outside on the grass without her shoes. And I said, hey, what are you doing? I've heard about it, but I was like, what are you doing? I was just interested. She said, oh, I'm grounding myself. I said, why? She said, I've been working since 4 a.m. last night, and I just needed to rejuvenate. I said, do you do this often? She said, in my job, I have to. I said, what do you do? She says, I'm a financial analyst for a one of those big companies. I said, is it a pressure thing? She said, yes. And I said, so is this the best way that you know how to cook? She said, yeah, when I walk with my feet, I'm grounded to the ground. And most importantly, I've had 3 cups of coffee. I don't want any more. This is the best way I can do it. So that's my take on that.
But so she mentions now, delayed gratification needs to be practiced, he says, but a situation is performance based on consulting. My clients expect things immediately. And if I don't show up and set boundaries, they can't understand it. That's what she's saying. And a few people have said, yeah, work-life balance is important. Work-life balance is a misnomer. I teach work-life harmony, so that's one. I believe in work. Life flow. It's all about life, and balance is a flow. You have to flow in it. It's not a balance. And then Gordon says, high performers are looking outside of themselves for validation, and their work wells are not anchored. So here's a quick things that I want to add to what we just spoken, Coach Phil, and just to address what Darren Lee is that I think it's we forget that it's important for us to create a high performance team. So what I see is that we hire team members. Now, Darren Lee, that's my suggestion to you, because I know where you are, is that you don't have a support system. And because you don't have a support system, you take all the pressure on yourself. It's the same with me. And the moment you get people, so if you get the right person, it changes your business and changes your life. But sometimes you get the wrong one as well. That takes a lot of effort and energy. Is to find that support system. And I think, Coach Phil, if I look at your journey and my journey, is you have a son, you have Helen, you have a few people that have worked for you that has made your life easier for you to focus on what is important then with your clients and with you. And I think that's for me the depression comes in, is where I realize I have to do everything. I have to
Yeah.
respond faster, and my team is not helping me to do that. And then the depression comes, right? So that is impacting me. What have you found when you also are high performer in consulting basis and your clients want the answer now? What do you do?
Sorry, when my client wants what?
While you say that, before I say that now, as Darren says, ha ha ha, never. People disappoint. Of course, Darren, I know. But
Okay.
yeah, what's your response,
Okay.
Coach?
This is it. One A player, one great team player, can double and or triple your effectiveness, take away all the stress, and help you focus on what you need to do uh, in ways that are astronomical. The biggest challenge with us, and I mean us small business holders, is our number one, delay to build a great team, delay to bring on A players. Number two, we don't want to pay big time for great talent. So we end up bringing our relatives and these mediocre people, and then we wonder why we're depressed. You know that if you get one A player, one really good person, they're going to triple. And I look, when I say it, I know it rubs people the wrong way, but it's okay because I went through it, and I know that one great team player can take so much off you. Okay, I actually point in case in point right now. We had a client who has been struggling to get partners there in the law firm side of things, and they've been looking for the right partner, and it took them about 18 months, and they've gotten a guy. His book value is $25 million. Book value. He's a young guy. He's 42. He's just come on board with a book value of $43 million. But this is the thing. He has taken away almost 50% of the stress. Do you know why? He is so organized. The way he does things is so organized that it has cut out all the fat of doing things. So number one, we need to really invest in a good team member. One person is going to change your life. One person is going to change your life. Number two, I just want to go back, Cobus, on this work-life thing.
Yes.
I caught myself yesterday. I was on the phone in the evening, and I was on the phone and not present with my family. And then just before I went to bed, I felt a little bit of anxiety, and I was like, why am I anxious? It's because I felt that there were certain things I didn't finish at work. Then I start work this morning, and flipping out at 5 o'clock, I'm on the phone sending messages to you again, and I'm thinking, dude, stop. This is why you cause anxiety. The first 5 hours in the morning, market your business. Be where you should be by getting people to know about you. Because if you don't, you're winking in the dark to a beautiful woman so she can't see you. So when you try to say, why don't I have clients? It's because you're winking in the dark. And when the lights come on, you ask her for coffee and she thinks you're mad. Why? She wasn't seeing you. So I was thinking, This is why I'm going to be unhappy later on today, because I'll be thinking I didn't do my marketing. So what's the point? When you're at work, be at work. Turn the phone off. And my mentor always says, hey, if it's an emergency, let them call the emergency. Because if your mom is sick and she's 6,000 miles away, there's nothing you can do about it. So 4 hours, concentrate on marketing your business. Number two, get quality people on the team. They will change your life. Do you know that the top CEOs, and I had this from the guy who runs chess, he spends more time looking for great talent. He's the top CEO of Chess Bank. He says, I am always looking out for A+ talent. Why? I know that one person completely changes the game for a department. One good person.
But the same is the opposite as well. The wrong person also impacts the business. And
100%.
I just want to add to that. One of my clients, what they do, they're constantly looking for position, even though they have that position filled, because they say if they interview out of the hundreds, they will find a diamond in the rough. And when they're ready, if they need to employ someone, they know who the diamonds is. So it's important to constantly be on the lookout.
You got it. And I think for us initially, as we build, initially you can afford to get a B player because the finances could be a little bit tight. But I can assure you that when you get an A player, look, Cobus, if you call Hassan at midnight, he's going to pick it up.
Yes.
Not big, but the attitude is amazing. If whatever you tell him, he's going to try and figure it out. He never, ever, ever says no. If he doesn't know, he's going to capacity build. But we've been together for almost 15 years now because of that. So if we can align with great people who appreciate who we are, who understand us, but also understand the mission, then it becomes easier. I was told the guy I was trying to do some work for, he said he's going to fire me. I said, but I was never employed by you. I was just trying to help you out. I asked him why. He said, you are too much of a bulldog. I said, no wonder you're struggling. I didn't say that to him, but in my heart, and this is what I said. I said, I'm going to skin you when I get into this market. So when you are the kind of person who wants to get things done and you surround yourself with the right team, things become much easier, much better, much quicker, much faster.
And Darren Lee says, tell him, Phil, yes, Phil, tell for Cobus.
I can't see this stuff. Where is he saying this stuff from? Where's Darren?
He's on Instagram at the moment. So he's responding on Instagram. Some people are on Facebook. Some are responding on YouTube and LinkedIn. So Coach Phil, we're everywhere. We're basically on 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 streams at the moment. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, X, Facebook, TikTok, Rumble, Twitch. So we're basically everywhere. People are going to see us everywhere.
Because I make you look good, so I could have shaved a little bit, and complimented you. You know that I make you look better when we are side, So next time I'll be more prepared.
So let's ask Darren Lee. Darren, if you're there, do you want to join us, Darren? Let me know, Darren. Why don't you jump on the call? I see you are. You don't have to put your camera on, Darren. You can jump on the call. So I'm gonna just forward you the link, Darren. So if you want to join us, that would be amazing. So I just want to check here. Where's the link? So Coach Phil, while we wait for Darren to respond, Mary says if she's a message on Facebook, if you have the right people on your team, plenty time off.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you see, if you're on a mission that you love, if you're on a mission that is your real purpose in life, it stops being a job. It becomes a labor of love. So you can have plenty of time off, but you never stop working. You're still the kind of guy, the kind of person who will still be on holiday, but be still making a difference. So that is the ultimate. But unplugging completely from the business is good for the business, not just you. It's good for the business.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's creating that team. So Darren says, how do I join? Darren, I sent you a link for you to join. So see if you can join with that link. I WhatsApp it to you. So if you're on there, Darren, it would be nice to jump in. So Darren is also an expert facilitator, trainer around emotional cultures. He works with a lot of companies. One of our big clients is like from Heineken to Engine. So it would be nice to have her on as well. So if you, Darren, I've sent you the link. So if you want to join us and have because Coach, she asked here, Coach Phil, can we be BFFs?
Who's asking?
That's Darren Lee.
Yeah, but of course, Darren. Of course, Darren. Is Darren vanilla or
Darren,
chocolate?
Darren is here, so let's.
Hey, hello, Darren. How you doing?
Hello, lovely to join in. Hello, everybody.
See how good you guys look. Just look. Just see how beautiful this looks. You see that?
Phil, I wanted to ask, do you want to be best friends? I like you a lot.
Anytime, man. Anytime. Any new friend is always a good one. So yes, we are best friends.
See? Fantastic. And you're speaking so much truth. I absolutely love what you are saying.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And yes, give us your contribution to this. Because I think by the time you're resonating, there are certain things, some wisdom that you have as well. So let's go.
So I was saying basically to on the chat that I struggle quite a bit with high performing depression, but in a sense of with my I delegate a lot of things out so I don't technically have them on my team, but I delegate a lot of things out to people virtually, remote. And I have found that I feel it's easier just to do it myself, get it done, sort it out. But then we came to something such as where we were speaking about systems, processes, organizational skills. That is absolutely gold. I have noticed. So I am such a creative at heart that I really struggled with organizational skills. And I realized once I started setting the self-discipline and a routine for myself, and I started doing certain things, I realized that I'm living my purpose, and I'm not just that. Cobus, you dropped a video the other day that really spoke to my heart. You shared it from TikTok, I think it was, and it said that if you don't step into your purpose, you are delaying someone else's purpose. And I thought, wow, mind blown, because that is so true. We don't realize that if we don't take actions in life, we are hindering other people from their journey. And that was such a powerful video to listen to. But it comes back down to just quickly about corporate and leaders, is that I have found that leaders with their well-being at the moment and their stress levels, I have found that a lot of them cannot really work with other team members or their teams as such, is because of the fact is that they're continuously having pressure from above, right? So they lose that little bit of sense of EQ. They have it. They know their team members must come first and they need to prioritize them. But there's so many tick boxes that they have to accomplish too. And, how do you balance those tick boxes as a leader as well as focus on your team? And there's this phenomenal woman that I do training for. She's the head of finance for this company. And she walked into my training room. I didn't know who she was from a bar of soap. And her presence and her energy was incredible. The way she walked into the room, she looked people, she greeted them, but you could see she was intentional with her presence and her time. And she took time to connect. And then she walked over to me and she introduced herself, and I could feel she was really present. She didn't know me from a bar of soap. And she would do this, and I'd observe her and see what she's doing. She's got one of the most stressful jobs, but she said she's trying to step into her purpose and align her and know that leadership is not a title, but a choice. And she asked herself, what type of leader does she want to be? What legacy does she want to leave in the company? She's the first female on the executive board, and she said that there has to be a change. But people respect her so much because she takes the time to connect. I feel like that is everything. Again, what Cobus was speaking about, that human connection, really being intentional with our time. And I agree with you, Phil. There is no such thing as work-life balance.
Be careful.
Sorry, guys. Sorry to burst your bubble, but there is no such thing, because if you've got the recipe and the blueprint, please share it, because then we wouldn't be in a mental health crisis right now if there was a blueprint for work-life balance. That's me.
Beautiful.
So, I think it's so nice to have you, Darren. So please connect with Phil.
I will.
So, I agree with you. There's no work-life balance. And one thing you said about letting go of someone's purpose, I had someone working for me about 2 years ago, and it just didn't work out. And when she left, she found something better in him today. So if I didn't let her go,
Brilliant.
she wouldn't have had the job, because she's excelled in the job that she has now.
Yeah.
She's bought a car now recently. She's planning on buying a house. She's like really leveled up. So I'm so grateful for that, because otherwise I would have held her back from her purpose.
Yeah.
But
But you were a stepping stone for that, though. You were put on her path to teach her something and to impart her with something on her journey. So don't disregard that either.
So here's my question is, right, how important is in companies is to have, we talk about all of this. It's nice to say EI and EQ and all of that, but people don't have the time, first and foremost, and they're not following the right. We don't, what's the word? Create accountability. There's no accountability. And I'm not talking about HR giving warnings. There's no really another accountability systems in most businesses. You work with a lot of business. Is there something like that? Because what I found is that, oh, sorry, I didn't do it. There's always excuses, and HR doesn't always step in. So how do we get people then to take accountable? Because, man, the excuses they have and how they don't show up, and there's no structure and process to follow. It's like keep people accountable and responsible for their actions.
I believe time goes where you direct it, first of all. So if you don't want to put your self-development first and know that you need to be accountable to practice EQ and really help your people enhance their development levels, then you got to ask yourself, what type of leader do you really want to be then? And I feel a lot of the times the leaders say, guys, more EQ, practice teamwork, talk to each other. But then, hello, turn around, they're not doing it. They're not walking the talk. So I feel, it needs to start with our leadership. And I'm seeing big, massive problems with this with my corporate clients at the moment, is that the people know what they must do, but they're too scared to do it, even though they are being told to do it, because they're scared of the implications. So I think it comes back down to asking yourself, you might not be a leader and you work in this company. You've got to ask yourself, again, why are you there in the first place? Is your values and your vision and your mission aligned with that of the companies? And is the culture really bringing your best foot forward, or your best potential out? And if it's not, then maybe it's time to move on. I personally feel, because if you keep pushing and taking accountability and standing up and doing all the things you need to do, and nothing changes, and you just keep showing up, yes, that's fantastic, but you've got to ask yourself, then, is it not time to move on? That's just my personal opinion. I think it starts with our leaders, first of all, and also with ourselves. Everything starts with ourselves. We need to stop with the culture of blaming others externally, like, you made me angry because you didn't do this, or, we tend to shift blame so quickly in our society, and we're not having great self-awareness. Actually, I attended a book launch tonight, and it all came back down to self-awareness. You need to be ready to do the work in yourself and ask yourself, how do you want to be remembered in this world?
Coach Phil, you've been quiet. What do you want to say?
I'm just taking in wisdom, Cobus. I'm just taking in all the wisdom.
So can I challenge that?
Yes, I love challenges. Game on. Do we have enough time?
We always have enough time. It's between us three, There's at least a few people on, so we have a few viewers. Look, I think unfortunately people might not like it. People are kids. Now, Darren, that's if I look at your kids, they're the most amazing kids. They listen to you, they challenge you. But what I find in businesses is we assume people are adults. We think they have common sense. They know what to do because I have a thing. I've hired you for your skill, and if for some reason they lose that EQ and intelligence, and it's like a kid. Like you have to show, you know. There's companies that do a meeting, Monday meeting, and then they sit in the meeting. They don't know how to do a meeting, right? And I'm like, you're manager, you are leaders in the business. You don't even know how to run a meeting. Okay, so yes, what I found is I don't know if the corporate side has become dumber in the end of the day, or they just need to be spoon fed. But I found that creating process and systems, and then accountability for the process of consequences. Think about your kids, right? They don't listen to you. You submit to them and you give them whatever they want. Am I right?
No.
Right?
I
What
use
consequences
I
do you?
use empathetic communication. I tell them what the consequences of are their behavior and why am I telling them no. But that's the thing. In corporate, you're just told no, you're not given a reason. And then you can't process it emotionally. And and what I have found is that no, our corporate is not getting dumber. It's just that a lot of companies are not giving opportunities for learning and development. It's the first budget to be cut. They cut learning and development first, other than all the other things. People are hungry to learn, but they're not given the opportunity. And also, I believe it's our L&D managers and our HR managers that are just doing tick box trainings and not actually looking at the training need analysis and ensuring that we have succession planning. Phil, you were talking about it, about I think it was Phil or Cobus speaking about how our youngsters are coming in and they're changing things, and the old guys are resisting it. It's because there was no succession planning in place. There was a no mentoring program in place. Mentoring in a sense of reverse mentoring, meaning that the old gentleman or lady can learn from the younger and vice versa. And what's happening is there's not enough opportunities and space for that because we're just so task oriented. And what we forget about is that emotions drive people, people drive performance. Full stop. Let me repeat that. Emotions drive people, people drive performance. It's been biologically and scientifically proven with all the research. So why are we still not focusing on the emotions? We go immediately into, oh, you didn't do this, you didn't do that. We go into attack mode. It's because our leaders weren't taught how to communicate effectively, how to give proper feedback effectively, as well as speak in empathetic communication. But I'm a firm believer that things are changing. And I'm seeing it with the big guys such as Simon Sinek, Adam Grant. They are coming out and they are really challenging corporates in the way they're thinking. Mal Robbins is another one as well. I must say, I'm a big fan of Simon Sinek and Adam Grant. I love following their work because they are really challenging that status quo. So I disagree. People aren't getting dumber. They're not just given opportunities. And then sometimes they're too scared to take those opportunities because the fact is that they're scared of the repercussions.
I think you've just hit it on it, yeah. So, and that's what the conversation to start with is, because that is exactly what is happening in businesses, in corporation. But you say things are changing, and I agree with you. I think more and more are getting open to the idea that we need to impact our culture. People are important, and we need to find new ways of communicating. However, so here's my thing of combat, asking you another question on that, and Phil, also jump in if you need. And I see Bruce is also on the call. Hello, Bruce. But people don't have the time. You give full day training, right? I've been at companies where they do a 1 day workshop and then they forget whatever they've learned on that 1 day. Don't you think is 1 day training still sufficient? With with everything
Yes, yes. So time goes where you direct it. There's something called micro learning at the moment. You can learn a new skill in 15 minutes. That's why there's such great success with LinkedIn Learning at the moment. However, it is how the facilitator or the teacher or the trainer, how they choose to show up and their passion for the subject and really make effort to help these learners, these delegates, right? I see it time and time again where there are training companies coming in and they follow the tick box exercise. They don't customize their content for the company. They don't really look at the needs and wants of the company. And they just do what they need to do in order to get paid at the end. They don't realize it comes back down to a purpose. And all three of us online here has such a massive impact. I mean, think about it. All three of you, or both of you, Phil, Cobus, if I ask you right now, can you name your best favorite teacher that you had in primary school or high school? Can you remember that one teacher that just like you'll remember their name, whoever it is? Mine was Mrs. Gurney. To this day, and it blows my mind. Why? Because people remember not what you say, but how you make them feel. Maya says this, and it's so true. It comes back down to emotions. How do you make people feel when they're attending those training and learning sessions? And are you helping them to get excited and to realize why they are there in the first place? Because a lot of times I get delegates who are forced there. They are forced to attend my one-day trainings and they don't realize why they have to be there. But by the end of my trainings, they come to me and they say, Taryn, wow, wow, wow. I see now why I needed to be here. You see, it's our responsibility to tell them and help them because this is our bubble. This is our environment. It's not theirs. So it's our responsibility as teachers and as leaders in our field to help people realize why it's important to work on your soft skills, now called essential skills, now called human skills, whatever you may be, depending on the trend at the moment. So that's just my 2 cents on that. Sorry, I get really passionate about this because if you encourage learners and you really put the emotions first and you don't just make it a tick box exercise, you need to build connection as a trainer in an L&D or an HR from the beginning. You need to see the person, not the number in the seats.
So
Yeah.
I'm going to give over to Phil, because Phil is this spoken as passionate about that. Just a shout out to everyone that's on there. Coach Phil is from Uganda originally, is now living in the USA. The connector. Darren Lee is South Africa's #1 soft skills trainer. She has the CEO of the boardroom coach. So she really trains. I think she's the best. She's the most sought after facilitator.
Oh, thanks, Cobus. What do you want?
Still having that there, and I think I just want to shout out to Bruce that has joined. But Bruce, we'll get to you. But I want to. Coach Phil has spoken about this challenges. The energy speakers bring and facilitators. He's a #1. He's trained multiple as well.
Brilliant.
Coach Phil, you're passionate about that. What's your take?
I think that you've just nailed it. There's a couple of things you were saying that the human resource professionals have for years sinned against their own selves. In that they, when you say that the first budget to go is the human resource budget to go, but that's because the human department created that situation for themselves.
Yes.
They were not being strategic partners. They were not showing their value because they were not engaging human beings at the emotional level so that they could bring the best out of them, so that they were seen as a contributor to the profits of the company. Why? The company cannot make profits if the human resource side of things is working. Unfortunately, the human resource people did themselves a disfavor. That's why in companies where you have weak human resource people, the first budget to go is human resource. But companies where you have a strong human resource that can quantify their results, that can quantify culture, that can say, because of we were able to improve our productivity by 10% because people are happier, they're coming earlier, they're leaving later, they have cut out fat, they're doing all these things. Then all of a sudden, human resource becomes critical to the mission. So where do we come in? And I love the fact that we are the solution to that problem. And how do we do that? We come in and create a space for emotion, a space for state and energy. You know, if you ever attended any of our sessions, and I'm glad that you're the kind of person who has those sessions where people are like, wow. For 15 years, there's no company we ever trained that did not have a radical change in results. Well, except one or two, where the leaders were not, they just didn't want it. They just wanted to tick off, you know. But everyone comes in as, not everyone, but most people would come in as prisoners. You know the prisoners. I don't want to be here. I wonder why I was sent here. And then by midday, they are dancing. They are hands off. They're having such a great time.
They're engaged. Yeah.
The next day, they're the first in the room because it was fun. It was engaging. We tapped into their emotions. Them feel good. We made them have purpose. We made them go like, oh my God, I actually matter. When people feel, I've always said, Cobus, I think you remember, I don't know if, people will always support what they create. Now, are engaging people in strategy and not telling them, guys, we got to make $10 million, go do it. But instead, you're asking, hey, guys, we have a target of 10 million. What do you suggest we do? And then you put them, and they're not sitting, they're standing and working on stuff and coming up with ideas. All of a sudden, at the end of the day, they're like, damn, we came up with this. When you
buy-in
can get to that level where people go like, we did that.
Yes.
That's the end of it. Number one, you be paid until you die. Number two, that is what is called effective strategic.
Yes.
So yes, our partners in crime, i.e. human resource, they will always get flack for it because they're not taught to do things out of the box. They just want to follow the book. We have an off-site team building. Yes. What did we do? We went, had food, had braai, got drunk. People had sex in the pool and came back. That's it.
Yep. You basically nailed the sales conference. The sales guys.
You know, our knowing about these things and why we, you know, I always tell Cobus that when a client makes a mistake and engages us, that's it. They're done because they'll never go back to anybody else. Because
I love that. I love that.
You know, we'll take them to the next level. But what do we do different? We engage them emotionally. We challenge them. Love challenge. People love to be part of stuff. You know, when you challenge them, all of a sudden, when they leave, they're like, oh, that was me. Not, Cobus is a great coach. No, that's not the goal. The goal is they leave saying, I am the man, I am the woman. When you achieve that, the rest is history. Okay, that's my
part. Love that.
So I'm jealous. Some of the feedback is that, Coach Phil, I'm in love with you. Taryn Lee, you are fabulous. You are awesome. You're energetic. Coach Phil, are you single?
He just said he was married. I love that.
Why can I not see these things, Cobus? It's unfair.
Why can I not see these things?
I don't think so.
You know, it's complicated.
Oh.
But I want to go to Ireland. Somebody offered me to go to Ireland. I used to go and drink Guinness in Ireland.
Yes, Guinness. I love Ireland. Love Ireland.
Anyway,
let's see what else.
let's stay on serving.
But I just want to say also, sorry, I just want to also say to the people who say we are fabulous and thank you, and you know you wanna marry Phil and is he single? I think what's really important is to just acknowledge is that you are here tuning in. You could be anywhere else right now, but you are choosing to engage, to uplift yourself, and to learn something. So you should be rewarded, and you should give yourself a pat on the back for showing up. I think that's pretty cool. That's pretty boom chakalaka, I would say.
Look at your brilliant trainer coming out in you, where you go like, oh, bounce it back to them. That's beautiful. That's why you're the best at what you do. So good on you.
Oh, thanks, Phil. I think I'm going to replace you with Cobus. I don't want to be friends with Cobus anymore. Hey, Cobus. You're going to be my new brother, Phil.
Cobus knows the deal. Cobus knows the deal. You know, Cobus, where have you gone? We can't see you. We got to take this conversation. So let's go.
Yeah. So yeah, just Mary, that is all the way from Ireland. She says, "Come and live in Ireland." And then she says something you just said about Guinness and so forth. Thank you. So thank you. Just a shout out to everyone that has been on. Yeah, I think we have had a lot of listeners here tonight, and it was just nice to have Darren here. I think, and just a shout out. You know, I think Darren, and part of my journey is you've now been on a few of the lives. I'm testing out software. I'm planning on doing this more. I've been following guys like I forgot his name, but he's host. He does a lot of live stream talking about South African politics, and then you have Leon de Pierre.
Oh yes, on TikTok, yeah.
On TikTok, but also on YouTube. They all have channels on YouTube.
Oh.
And I've been looking at this, and I've been having excuses not to do lives. I'm going to be honest. I went to a place where my dad critiqued me a lot and says, I have nothing to say. And then I just lost me after COVID. I lost my challenge of being live. And then 1st of August started last, and I kept on saying I would start on the 1st. I didn't start, so I started last week and doing a live every day. And I'm going to push there, you know, a minimum of 3 lives to get that momentum going, get people on like you, like the rest of it, like Coach Phil, talk about business, talk about the economy, talking about culture. So I think definitely would be nice to have us do this more on a regular basis and have a conversation and just be the experts. You're an expert, so that we can be an expert in the field that we are and get the knowledge out there. And I think I will definitely ask you to see when you can come on as well. You know, Coach Phil is going to be regular where we say, okay, let's tackle Pick and Pay, for example, that is closing down. Why is they closing down? Let's analyze them. Let's really tell people what's happening, you know, the government, what's happening there with culture and stuff. How would we do it differently? And what is some of the solutions? Because you have great solutions. I would throw a spanner in the works. You come out with something different where you disagree with me. And that's where the knowledge is. That's where the golden nugget is. So, and Coach Phil's energy, and his sexy look, and then we have
Cobus, please, don't do this to me.
Don't do this to me.
Well, there's at least another brother on here as well. So he looks like you.
Now look, Bruce wants to compete with you. Bruce, did you have to come on with your headphones and bring some more chocolate? What's wrong with you? I was trying to be in the limelight here.
I see it.
There cannot
Look.
No, please.
It was a top decker. I wanted to spice things up. It looked like a top decker chocolate. I wanted to spice things up.
Oh, Bruce, you always spice things up, my bro.
Cobus, guys, I have a call on in 10 minutes that I need to get ready for. So I love you all. I hope that we can catch up again. There's nothing as beautiful as being able to serve, but it's also in service that we discover who we really are. And if we decide to do that, let us bring other people along so that we can make the world a better place. Until next time, it's a pleasure. It's an honor. Sorry, I got to go.
Bye, Phil.
Bye, Phil.
Bye, Phil. Yeah, we'll chat to you soon, Phil. And Darren Lee, thank you. Is there any last words of wisdoms from your side that you would love to share with all of us?
I think think, tonight I went to a book launch. It's called Finding Your Raw.
Okay.
And you were saying something about your dad and, how he says you got nothing to say and things like that. Can I tell you, I'm so proud of you for doing these lives because we need to do more of it. You never know what you might say and might spark something in someone's heart or mind, And even if it's just one person on this live that takes something and they go implement it, or they go to bed fulfilled a little bit better than what they were. But I just want to say that I am so proud of you for doing this. I absolutely, personally, I absolutely hate video. And I mean, we're speakers and trainers and facilitators. People want to see us online more often. So you've really inspired me. Thank you so much for this and for just bringing me on, whether I liked it or not. And you see, and that's what a great coach and a friend does. So thank you for that support. Thank you for that encouragement. And thank you for giving me an opportunity to share my knowledge tonight and to speak up. I just want to say thank you.
Yeah, I think we've come a long road. For those who don't know, as we climbed Kilimanjaro together, we've achieved so many things together. Came on a journey, and I think it's just amazing to see how we both have grown. We've both gone for ups and downs. You are I don't know what's the words, but a speaker for mental health as well. You bring a lot about people. You introduced me to Bruce, that is on the phone call at one of your events that we did the broken glass walk. and for me, that was you connect people as well. Even though Coach was a connector, and I always learn from you. I always tell people, if you want to know who's really hitting it hard in South Africa in the speaking environment, it's Darren Lee. If you want to copy someone, find what she's doing, and she's really successful at what she's doing. And I mean, you said it. It's not just about building sometimes a team; it's about hustling. You really are a high performer, and you push through. And I think success leaves clues, and you are leaving a lot of clues of success. And one of those I want to bring to people. I want to leave with them. That was my learning from Krachtdag. That's my learning is the power of relationships, not judging people. Really reaching out and building a connection. They might be different cultures, they might be different things, but I think if we can do and say, let's look past each other's skin color, let's look past each other's race, what do you call it, gender, etc. And you are one that I've learned, if people want to know what is unconditional love, Darren Lee exudes it. She really, the way she has the kids with her clients, and I see Mary Shepherd says, "Yeah, cool, Darren Lee." So, Darren,
thanks, Mary. I like you also, Mary. But I'd sort of say I owe it to God. It's all God, and He's given me the talents and passion to do this and to help people as far as I can. And I owe it to Him.
Comes back to religion and practicing it. It's having a relationship with God that overflows in your cup, that overflows towards others. And you can see a tree by the fruit it carries. And I think that's the lesson for people out there. As a leader, what is the fruit you are carrying? If you are an employee, what is your fruit you are carrying? And if you don't get the right fruit, then it's time to invest in your personal growth. And I think that is another powerful learning, what you talked about tonight, that I'm taking away from this. So awesome, Darren, awesome.
Thank you. Okay, I got to go to bed now. I've got training tomorrow. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Thanks for the chat. Bye.
Bye. So, my brother from another mother. So, nice to have you here. I think you joined earlier, and then we had a conversation with someone else. And I think one thing I want to talk to you about, and I think maybe we can talk about this, and we don't have to go in so much detail, but marketing-wise. So I know we're going to talk about marketing tomorrow, but just for people out there, we have come a while. It's how long have we known each other, Bruce?
It's 2025 now, so it's 6 years.
Okay,
I've known you for 6 years. You've known me for 2 years. Let's get that right.
Okay, so
So I've known you for 6 years. You've known me for 2, but
Yes.
round about then, yes.
So all my videos and social media posts, everyone, it comes from Bruce. And I think we meet up every 2 weeks to have a talk about videos and branding. So one of the suggestions was to do live streams, and so we will just still finalize it. I have a table and chair. My office looks like a tornado went through here, but we're going to have a more of a professional setup, Bruce. I think because you said it's important, not to have a background, not to have, that's why I took my background away so that I just have a normal screen. Why is that important?
So it's one too many things, but the thing is, if you want to tell people that you are a professional, you must look the part. I joined in earlier. I was watching from the back and sorry, from the front end, and you were speaking about the human part of any business, being human in any business, and with this whole thing that's happening around now with AI and all that, people want to interact with the human being, not the bot. People want to feel the human side of it, whether in leadership, whether you're running your own business. We want to see the human part of it. So the minute you make everything too artificial, you disconnect with the human being, you disconnect with us. So what you want to do is, the reason why I said you want to refrain from using too many artificial backgrounds is you want to, number one, you want to be vulnerable to the people that, hey, I'm not fake, I'm real. I'm not in a fake boardroom. This is my office. What that does, it makes the next person who wants to be in the same position, who wants to start something, to say, I can start. I don't need to have this fancy place to start. I can start with what I have where I am. Number one. Number two, you also want to show people that it's not only about what you have, but what you have materialistically, but what you have to offer. So if Bruce sits on a big office that he has designed, and I don't have that fancy big office, it doesn't mean I don't have anything to say to the people. It doesn't mean I don't have anything to offer. It just means I'm at a position where I'm still building myself towards that. And so I wanna, but I'm still capable of doing whatever I want to do. But now, speaking of it in the marketing point of view, is also that I can talk about the algorithm, I can talk about all that, but it's rather less relevant. It's more, the algorithm is the human being. People want to see you, and the less artificial it is, the better people can connect with you. The algorithm, I can say, this video looks better than this video looks better than that, but at the end of the day, there is no, in my understanding, there is no algorithm. It's just human beings interacting with your content. So the best way to deliver content is to deliver content that people can resonate with. If there's people can resonate with what you have to offer, then they are willing to come back and see what you have to offer. Because at the end of the day, unless you want to be a celebrity and you want to trend, and yes, then you can focus on other things like, do I have the good lighting, do I have this, do I have that? But if you want to share value, it's not about having a super expensive studio. It's about what you have to offer. Yes, quality matters, but also quality in deliverance matters as well. So that's just my take. Aside with the algorithm, what you have to offer, can I listen to it? Can I see you? Sure. Can I listen to it? Yes. If it's quality, I'll consume. If it's junk, I'll consume and I'll regurgitate the next minute. That's just it.
It's about being vulnerable and being authentic. But it's funny that you say it. How people want things to be real. I posted a video on my statuses today and on TikTok about me walking with lions, and 90% of the people thought it was AI. Even you thought it was AI.
I thought it was AI. I'll admit, I thought it was AI.
Everyone, and it's crazy how AI has taken up the world, how that impacts our marketing. So I think marketing, and maybe that's on our journey for my business, is to get back to the basics of making it as real as possible and looking at it as real as possible, and not having too much AI influence in it. And am I right?
To jump you in there, I was at the PSASA meeting. I don't know. I don't remember if you were also there. I think you were there. The Joburg chapter. I think it was last month, where Graham Corrington, if I got the name and last name correct, he was speaking. Wait, was it Graham?
It was Graham Codrington, yeah.
Yeah, you said the future is less AI, more human. I might have lost the exact words he put it, but as in the next 2 years, everything is going to be so AI that speakers and coaches are going to lose their jobs because an HR manager is going to assume if I put this on ChatGPT, it's going to give me the response. I'll give it to the people, they'll run with it, and then that's it. But after the next 2 years going forward, what's going to make you relevant is not about how well you know AI, it's about how well you know the human being. Because, like, I was just having a chat with Sasta, and she was like, "Have you seen ChatGTP 5?" I'm like, "Yes, that's something else. That's out of this world. You punch in one thing, now it gives you 20 times better than what the other chat GTPs have been giving in the last year or so." But at the end of the day, that's generative. That doesn't have the emotional touch. Yes, you can instruct it, be as human as possible. You can tell it how you want it to write, but it's not human. It doesn't feel how I feel. It doesn't feel how you feel. So, coupling that with what Graham was saying as well, is to say, yes, you can go as AI as you want, but eventually it comes down to the human part of it. We need more human touch than AI touch. Otherwise, I can create my own movie on AI, but will I enjoy watching that movie? Definitely not. I need some Denzel Washington. I need some yes, I'm a bit old school. The characters that I'm gonna name are very old school, but you need some real characters to do the movie, not just to create the story and run with it. And it's not gonna be as nice as actually watching the real actors in action. So that's just my take on that.
Thanks for that, Bruce. So just, I know we can have our marketing call tomorrow. Is there anything you would love to have discussed that we can discuss on a live, or do you want us to jump on a personal call?
Oh, no, let's jump on a personal call.
Let's jump off. I'll send you a Zoom call. For everyone out there, thank you for being on here and listening. I hope you found value. We had some good people joining in, and we've been up for an hour and a half. How amazing is this? I think we will fine tune it as we go along, and it will just get better as we do it. And I think Darren Lee said, it's about doing and starting. And David Goggins said, don't wait for perfection. Jump in and just doing it and build it as you go. I think, Bruce, this is you've had a lot of wisdom this morning as well. I think we will build on this and set up a nice look and feel, and create the sort of a news access and a news live of talking about certain topics around business, not just in South Africa, but around the world. We will analyze it. We will talk about the politics in South Africa as well, of how that affects the business side. So it will all be focused on business news. It will be news and our perspective of it. So, Bruce, Mary Shepherd says, thank you, Bruce, for your wisdom. Any last things you want to say? And then I'm going to end the stream.
No, that's all from me. I think I will join on later when it's specifically for my field. I was jumping in, but we should one day have a live where we actually debunk that and businesses, but not today.
Yes, 100%.
Marketing and politics.
Well, everyone, Bruce would be the total expert to talk about Zimbabwe when we address Zimbabwe's politics and what's happened there.
I'm not a politician.
But we will talk about how that is affected and the decisions of what politicians can have on business and on normal people's lives. And the same around the world, like a Trump and like in South Africa. So from my side, have an awesome evening. Thank you for tuning in and all of your support. It's amazing to see we've had 2 people stream from the beginning till now on X. So it's the first time people are watching me on X. So that is good. Even on Twitch, someone has been watching from the beginning till now. And we have a few on YouTube as well. I see Rumble is still 0, but we will get there. We will get more people joining on that side as well. So Bruce, soon we are going to have millions of people watching. So let's keep it going. Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye, everyone.